So section 2.1 and 2.2, we're just going to be adding and subtracting. We're combining those two together because we're just going to be straight adding and subtracting rational numbers. So your goal for today, if you notice, it's already posted over there. We are going to be so by the time you're done, you should be able to add and subtract rational numbers. What are rational numbers?
Numbers that can be turned into a weight.
Keep going, Reed. You got it. Nope. You got it, Reed. Fraction, yes. All right. Rational numbers are numbers that can be turned into a fraction. So when we're adding and subtracting numbers, rational numbers, we're going to be adding whole numbers, integers. We're going to be adding and subtracting decimals and fractions. Okay. So we're going to be doing all that today. Lawson, you had a question?
Where do you put these videos?
In Google Classroom.
Oh.
Yeah, I posted in Google Classroom. All right. So anything from chapter 1 is in Google Classroom. All right. So these are your goals today, and we're gonna apply addition and subtraction. Okay. So we're gonna talk about a couple things today. Let me give you a couple words. Additive, inverse. Additive, inverse. Yeah, kind of. Additive inverse, okay, is another word for opposite. Opposite numbers. So if I said -2, what would be the additive inverse of -2? 2. Thank you. So when we add this is their additive inverse of each other. When we add them together, what do they equal? 0. Thank you. So additive inverses, when you add them together, you always get a 0. Okay? And we call that the inverse property of addition. OPPO. Right?
I keep writing.
It's okay. You're good. So additive inverses will always add up to 0. Okay? Well, do I want to, you know what, let's do some rules. Now, we did this in our support class, but people still struggle. I don't know why. All right. When you're adding numbers with the same sign, right? That's rule number 1. Add numbers with same signs. Always add. Always add. So, positive and positive, more positive. Negative and negative, more negative. You just keep adding and keep the sign. Okay? And the other number is subtract, sorry. We are going to subtract numbers with different signs. So we're going to add, same signs, subtract, we want to subtract numbers with different signs. Okay, same signs, we add, this one always subtract. But the key is to keep the sign of the bigger number. When the signs are opposite, you always subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. Okay? I should give you some examples, huh? All right. Huh? You think you could do it?
Yeah.
All right, let me give you the example for the rule number 1. All right? This is example number 1. So, you're going to say, the instruction is going to say simplify. That means to get into the simplest term, so bring it all the way down to just one answer, right? So if I did 3 plus 5, 8, right? Because they're both positive, right?
Yeah.
So you add and keep the sign, positive 8. What if I did negative 3 plus a negative 5? Negative 8, because, and we're still adding, right? Because they're both signs of the negative, so we're still adding. And then you keep the sign, so I get negative 8. All right? What if I did negative 3 plus 5? Signs are opposite, right? Since signs are opposite, what do? We subtract. So 5 minus 3 is 2. And what if I had negative 5 plus 3? Because signs are opposite. One's negative, one's positive. We're subtracting. But which number has a bigger, which sign has a bigger number? The negative 5, right? So that's why you still subtract, but you keep the sign of the bigger number, which is negative. So this is what that means. Okay? Now, only difference about subtracting, if you notice that these are all like addition right here. We got additions right here. Everybody see that? Okay. Now, what if I turn it into this? You tell me. Okay. What if I had minus negative 3 minus 2?
Negative 5. Or no, yeah,
Negative 5.
Yeah. The minus sign, I treat that also as a sign because have you guys heard add a line, change the sign before? You never heard that before? You add a line to the subtraction and change the sign of this one, and if this is positive, what should it become? Negative. So this, when it was a minus, what we do is we go negative 3 plus a negative 2, which then technically would be this. So when you see this, I would treat that minus sign as both of the same sign, which then both of them will give me negative 5, because this means this. Does that make sense? Is that new? Adding a line, changing a sign? Okay, really? You never heard that before? Interesting.
Very new, Miss Thompson did teach us that.
Okay, then what about this one? Ready? I got 4 minus a negative 2. Can you explain how you got 6?
2 positive, or 2 negatives equal a positive.
Add a line. You could do add a line or add a line, change the sign. So we're going to do add a line right here. Change the sign of negative 2 to 2. Then it becomes 4 plus 2, right? Which make that a
Change the sign.
add a line, change the sign, right? Or Ty says 2 negatives makes it a
Positive.
positive. So you could do it that way too. But if you noticed, right, you got to change the sign for subtraction. Now here's a neat one. This thing's called a matrix. Oops, sorry. Ready? You're done? Yeah. I know you can't. You're having a hard time. All right, ready? Here's a matrices. I like matrices. Okay, so we have what's called a matrix. Matrix is a set of numbers. It's a rectangular set of numbers that is in rows and columns. All right, so this is a matrix. So the size is given by, these are the rows, rows, right? Did I say that right? And these are columns. We call those columns. What'd you say?
You're saying rolls.
Like saying roll.
I can't say it. Rows.
Rows.
That's good.
And columns.
Row.
I can't say it. Ready? So here, this is what it looks like. Ready? I got 2, 1/2, 4, 0.4, 2/3, and 7. So matrix is a rectangular set of numbers, okay, that has rows and columns. And the size of that matrix is given by, by how many rows to column. So in this case, I have 2 rows to a column, so we call this 2 by 3 matrix. 2 by 3. All right? What we're going to do is we're going to be adding matrices. Now, the plural term for a matrix, if you have more than one, it's called matrices. Okay? So matrices, this is the plural version of a matrix. So anything more than one is called matrices. Okay? So this is an example. Now, we call these, each one of these numbers are called elements. So that's an element. And they have a, we name it by A, B. Yeah, we name the rows by letters, and then we have designated numbers that goes this way. Anyway, you don't have to know all that yet. We'll do more of that in Algebra 2. For this class, what we're going to do is we're just going to be adding matrices. To add matrices, the size must be the same. Okay? If you have 2 different sizes, you can't add them. All right? But this is really easy, actually. So if I gave you something like this, so I'm just going to pick another one. Ready? Here we go. This is example number 6. I got a -6, 8.6, 11, 2.3, 5, and -3. What size is this?
Is that 8.6?
That is 8.6. This is a 2 by 3, yes. And I'm going to add it to, I have to add it to another 2 by 3, otherwise I can't add them together, right? So the other one has 7, -5.4, a 2, 11.1, and 3, and -1. And when you add those two by 3s together, your result will be a 2 by 3. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger right now because I'm going to show you how to add them. Anybody know?
Just add every single one.
Tate?
Just add whatever like the same place that you added the other one.
Yeah. So this spot right here belongs to these together, which is -6 plus 7. And then the result of that, which is
1.
1.
1.
Right? Now over here will be 8.6 plus -5.4.
14.
14?
Can't prove it.
Are you
Oh,
sure?
-5.4.
-5.4. What would that be?
3.2.
3.2. And then over here will be the result of 11 plus 2. So everybody understand how to add the matrices?
Yeah.
Now what's 11 plus 2?
12, 13.
You're going to that.
I'm not sure. It's Trez.
And then this spot and this spot belongs to that spot, right? 2.3 plus 11.1. What do you got to do when you add decimals? Huh?
13 points.
Add up your.
You add them, that's what you do.
You just add the normal addition.
Line up the decimals. Line up the decimals. Yeah. So this will be 13.4. You have to line up the decimals. Okay? This is 5 plus 3, which is 8. And -3 plus -1 is? -4. The signs are the same, so you have to add. So that's how you add matrices. Any questions? Any questions? Oh, we're going to do this in Algebra 2 where actually there's an application for this. Okay? You don't want me to talk about that right now, do you? Okay. Any questions?